What up, War Room Nation? This is Jimmy, aka The Blueprint, aka The Bob Costas of Battle Rap, aka Jackson Folix. This is episode 203 of the greatest podcast since Al Gore invented the internet. In this episode, we talk about everything that's going on in the world of sports at the time. But this is a special episode. We dig into what's going on with Scholastic Sports. We talked to Andrea Gardner, who's a former WNBA player who now works in education, as well as the homie Omar from Executive Prep Academy. We talk a little bit about the mentality of young students wanting to be athletes and not taking their studies seriously. So just take a listen. It's a pretty great episode. It's interesting. It's episode 203. Salute.
Human shish kebab.
Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Ted, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you wanna end a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level? Bold with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th tour the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
Yes, sir. That's what we are. What up, War Room family? We are back in the building, and you are once again live in the War Room. Brought to you by War Room Sports on that new WRS Podcast Network. I'm Devin McMillan. I'm joined at the round table as usual by my partners, Jimmy the Blueprint Williams and B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. You heard what they said in the song. The Pacers are holding on in OKC. They have come thundering back, so we'll discuss the NBA Conference Finals a little bit later. But midway through the first hour of the show, we'll continue our discussion from last week on youth and scholastic sports in America, but this time we're going to focus on education and a widespread self-destructive mentality shared by many of our lower-income youth. I think you guys might know what that is, but if not, just stick around. We're going to have a conversation on it. Joining us, a special guest co-host for that conversation and more, will be Omar McGee, founder of the Executive Prep Academy of Finance out in Inglewood, California. We'll also be speaking with former WNBA player Andrea Gardner. Currently, she's a teacher and athletic director at Mastery Charter School, Thomas Campus in Philadelphia. But before we get into that, and that very important conversation, we got a few other topics to discuss, some birthday shout-outs to give. You guys know the usual. So make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports so you can get in on the conversations yourself. You can join us direct. You can call us directly when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number, as usual, is 323-410-0012. During the week, like we've been telling you for the past month, 24/7. Be sure to visit our new podcast network. That website is WRSPN.com, or you can just go to our main site, WarRoomSports.com, and listen to some of the best talk radio the internet has to offer. Sports, lifestyle, culture, entertainment, you name it. The War Room Sports Podcast Network has got it. You can hear shows such as ours, of course. You can hear the Broad Street Line with Roy Burton and Chris Domingo, Sports Trap Radio with Brandon Pemberton, the Gaffer and Hooligan Soccer Podcast for all you soccer/football fiends out there with Kamal Hilton and a lot more. So just make sure you get over to the network. Check them out. In addition, don't forget to catch us in syndication on Sundays and Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on FatsRadio.com. That's PHATZ radio.com. What's good, Generals, man?
You already know, man. Maintaining.
3,500 and give him a name, and he's backflipping dudes. Just to say,
no doubt.
Jimmy,
but
y'all get the record.
We also got to give a rest in peace shout out to Maya Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou, and shout out to all the phenomenal women out there. Still y'all rise, because I've heard that both of those quotes like 65,000 times since yesterday, since the news broke.
I'm a shout out to myself.
Never mind. It's a reminder of going to Ivy Leaf, hearing all those Maya Angelou quotes, yo. Shout out to Dr. Cooper.
Yeah. But y'all know the War Room, though. Yeah, rest in peace.
I don't know if Dr. Cooper dead, but if he alive, he got to be like 136.
Nah, I think Doc died a long time ago. I think he did.
That's what I'm saying.
Any of our
I
Ivy
know
League
that,
peeps, let us know. But I think he did a long time ago.
He had to, yo. If not, he's like 136 right now. But anyway, he used to like be a Maya Angelou stan. Maya Angelou and what was the other guy? Baldwin was his guy. That's who it was. Was it Baldwin or Hughes?
Yeah.
Anyway,
y'all know the War Room. Y'all know the War Room has no problem with phenomenal women. They're some of our favorite things on the planet.
About to move on before we get ourselves in trouble, man. Yo, phenomenal women still they can't make us let's talk about what happened while you were on the grind last week. And for those who don't know, this is brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including the NFL Sunday Ticket, go to WarRoomSports.com and click on that DirecTV logo. Get you the hookup. You know what I'm saying? And get you DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have DirecTV to watch football, basketball, baseball, boxing, whatever it is. It's all on DirecTV.
Phenomenal women.
Click on the logo. Absolutely. You can find phenomenal women.
Cinemax.
Now, anyway, yo.
Midnight.
Cinemax. Yo. Worst behavior. Anyway, man. More sad news, man. Manchester United and Tampa Bay Buccaneers owner Malcolm Glazer dies at 85. Rest in peace to Malcolm Glazer. Donald Sterling.
That's one of those things, man. Like with him and Maya Angelou, when people get to 85, 86 years old, you can't really be too sad in your morning. It's kind of like a celebration of their lives and everything that they accomplished. Like, Malcolm Glazer and the Glazer family is known throughout sports. And, man, not even talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is in the most popular league in America, but Manchester United, you know how much that team is worth? Like
That's so much bigger than the Bucks. That's like quadruple with the Bucks. The significance of the Bucks. Like Man U is like there's only like 2 or 3, maybe 4 franchises in soccer around the universe that is like universally recognized, and Man U is one of them. Like people go crazy for Man U.
Austin, he bought the joint for $1.4 billion back in 2005. So yeah, they said in 2010 Forbes ranked him. He was like the 400th richest person in the world. His net worth was estimated in 2010 at $2.4 billion.
So, in the world, Craig. And the funny thing about Forbes is when it comes to the sports valuations, they are always off.
On point.
And they're always off, but not only that, they're very conservative in terms of the numbers they come up with. Like, when you look at what the Bucks just sold for and the Milwaukee Bucks, and you look at what Forbes had them, you laugh because they're off by like a factor of like 2 or 3. Like it's not even close ever. I mean, they valued the Clippers at $750, and Bitten didn't start till like 1.4. So it's like
I actually think they're all points.
But I actually got bars about that. But we got that on the docket for late in the show. I got some words about that whole thing. So y'all already know my thinking on that. An example.
Let's take the Clippers out of it. Let's look at the Bucks though. Let's look at the Bucks. Or if you look at any franchise that has sold over the last 15 years, and look where Forbes had them in terms of their valuation, they've always been low. So the reason I say that is
Forbes gonna have Dr. Dre being worth $200 million, even after the deal finally went through.
And the thing about it is, like, the reason I say that is because if he paid $1.4 billion then, and they only said he was worth $2 billion, he's probably worth like $8 billion. But anyway, that being said, man, rest in peace to Malcolm Glazer, man. The Bucks are they were relevant. They just seem to be going backwards at this point. Anyway.
Well, maybe they can win one for Malcolm.
Speaking of football, I don't even know if this is a football story anymore, Dev. B. Austin's homie, a.k.a. his hitman, is back in the news, man. Blood Gang member Aaron Hernandez, there's more information leaking out now about what happened.
Crazy.
Basically, the gist of it is a spilled drink led to a double homicide. I know you wanted to talk about the specifics, but
because when I heard it and read up on the story, as y'all did as well, but let me talk to the audience who may not have heard the details yet. in his arraignment for the 2012 double murder, they're basically saying that Aaron Hernandez, the two guys that he shot and killed that night, he'd never seen before in his life. They were at a club in Boston, and one of the dudes bumped him by mistake on the dance floor, spilling Aaron Hernandez's drink, and the guy basically didn't apologize. They said he smiled, and he didn't apologize, didn't say anything. Because obviously there's somebody, doing a little bit of talking because the story is too detailed and it's too close to Aaron Hernandez. So one of his friends basically, are spilling the beans, and somebody told the prosecutor that when Hernandez, he had been paranoid recently about people trying him and disrespecting him. So he looked at this as disrespect because the dude didn't say my bad, didn't say sorry or whatever. So the guy trying to calm him down took him across the street to another club. When he goes into that club, he points out some more dudes thinking that they were the same guys, thinking that they were following him. So now he's creating beef in his head that doesn't exist because documents say those other guys didn't leave that first club until after 2 a.m. So they're outside waiting for them to come out, and when they do come out of that first club, like I said, he's crazy because he thought they were in the other club. When they came out, he follows them in his SUV. He took a .38 out of the engine block of his truck, follows these dudes, puts 5 into the car. There's 3 people in the car. He kills 2 of them and injures the third dude. So basically, he was willing to just take 3 lives because he's just firing into the car just because somebody bumped him and he spilled a drink. Yo, how gangster, and I'm not saying that in a positive way, how gangster is this dude, man? What's wrong with him?
Yo, here's the thing, though, and I just want to put it like this. What's wrong with him is this. We joked about him being like a football player that was, living a double life as a killer.
I ain't got no more jokes.
No, it's evident to me that he was a killer living a double life as a football player because I don't even know how to even get the words to describe how stupid this guy is, and I blame his friends, family, and his old heads, man. Because the thing is, he was a talented football player. He wasn't like a scrub that was just on the team. This guy was, an integral part in what they were building over there. So when you have somebody with that kind of talent, you know how it is in the hood, man. When you show a talent or you show that you have a little bit of brains, most people be like, yo, leave that alone. Yo, I guess they didn't tell him to leave that alone because they didn't want to end up in the body bag.
They must have knew what it was hitting for. This dude is crazy, man.
I had, when this story first broke, you can call us distasteful or whatever, but we can find the silver lining of humor in just about any story and any topic. This ain't funny anymore. The utter disrespect for life and lack of value of life with this dude is insane. It's crazy because, and I'm not, this is complete conjecture, completely, but I get the feeling that if there's these 3 bodies and he can put the murder game down on these 2 human beings that he really has no problem with, there has to be other bodies out there because he's living the life of a killer. He's a murder, 3,500 and he could backflip you.
This dude had never ever seen these 2 guys before in his life. He got bumped on the dance floor and he spilled some of his drink. That prompts you to put 5 bullets into somebody's car. There's really something wrong with this dude. And I think, Jimmy, you're right. Forget putting the football label first because that's obviously not what was first in his life. Because first of all, he was living that cush life through football, but he was still willing to risk that life because of what he was doing on the streets.
This is
I'm
crazy,
appalled,
man. This is like one of them things where you watch the movie and at the end of it you're like, that was a good movie, but there's no way that could be real. But this is real.
This is a Lifetime movie.
Right.
This is like a Lifetime joint.
It's something.
This is beyond Lifetime. This is a rated R in the movie type John. he's being played by like the Rock of Vin Diesel, so they putting the action murder game down. Like, this guy is out of control, man. And like I said, I blame the community that raised this dude, man, because when you see somebody with this kind of talent, you gotta like tell them to chill on that, man. Yo, man, there's nothing worse than wasted talent. Like my man told Cologino, man, nothing worse in this world than wasted talent. And this guy was willing to end someone's life over a spilled drink, and that's probably like part of the problem with society now. You see so many people talk about he don't respect me or he disrespected me, and they're ready to like take action. Like, yo, it ain't that serious,
crazy. 5 bullets in somebody's car because he bumped you.
But this is beyond even that. Though.
He probably would have did it if
beyond,
dude did apologize. If dude would have gave him a my bad, he probably still would have murked him. Yo, he waited like 2 hours for the dudes to leave the club.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
At some point, don't you calm down? My man still emptied the clip on him.
Yo,
this was way
he
premeditated.
Bumped me, let's rumble. He bumped me, let me slide him. Let me sucker punch him. He bumped me, let me roll on him. No, he sat there, stewed for 2 hours, contemplated, put it all together, went to his hammer that was stowed in the engine block. That's a professional move, by the way. Stowed in the engine block, retrieved it, and then pumped 5 shots and hit 3 people. First of all, his aim
that is a professional move, though, because I'm so clueless I wouldn't even know where to put it. Like, I put it somewhere that fell out in the street.
I know that, because like, we used to go to Delaware Avenue. Never mind.
No.
My sure would have fell out in the street somewhere.
Yo,
who got an aim like that, though? I know you coming from, Austin. My man got an aim, though. Like, he's not just letting it loose and hitting whoever.
If you banging 3 people through a car with their windows up from your vehicle and you killed 2 of them and maim a third, like, he's done this before, Dad. He's done this before. This is what he does. I don't take football passes.
He's crazy, man.
I throw bullets. I toss bullets. I do this.
Yeah.
Yo, that's
and throughout throughout the whole thing, fellas, the dude still he's pleading not guilty, so it's possible, you know, if his lawyers are good enough, this dude will be walking the streets again. So
yo, I'll be honest, like that.
We'll see.
You right. I didn't even think about that. Like my man said, yo, he ain't even like he ain't bust up. Like he caught it. Like he tried to make the right man bleed. In the words of Nas, like he literally got that kind of aim.
He just tried to make all men bleed.
He got that kind of aim. Like, what kind of gun game do he got?
Yeah, well, as usual.
This ain't funny, man.
He's
funny.
Been a nominee plenty of times.
You should be ashamed of yourself, the way you carry yourself.
Aaron Hernandez don't bust his gun. Yes, he do.
I'm not a proponent of the death penalty, but yo, I ain't even mad if he somehow gets found guilty. Like, yo, my man is just out here offing people. Like, there's no pressures of society. We can't blame that he's in the hood living under duress. We can't blame the pressures of, yo, you're a millionaire and you choose to live this way. Like, this is what
there's no sense in him ever getting out of doing it. Like, yo,
you made it out. You made it out, dude.
Yeah, he probably sitting
in
in prison right now. Diesel looking like Zangief right now because you know he probably in there running the prison. Anyway,
they already gave him an assignment. The shot caller already gave him an assignment. He already been rumbling in there.
Yeah, he probably gonna lay somebody down there too, man. Yo, anyway, man, enough about Adebisi, man. Let's talk about this. Something else that should get a JoJo Award nominee. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson didn't go to his son. Oh, not that story. I'm sorry. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson threw an opening pitch at the Mets-Pirates game, and it is a nominee for one of the worst opening pitches in the history of baseball. There have been some brutal ones.
You should be ashamed of yourself, the way you carry yourself.
I saw the pitch. That couldn't wait. I saw the pitch. Yo, he threw that. Yo, he threw it to first base. Accidentally.
Yo. That might...
How does the ball go that way, though? It looked like a golf shot or something. It looked like a golf drive that he spliced to the left. Like, yo, manhood points out of the window. You can't be tough throwing the ball like that.
it looked like he was trying to throw it like left-handed, but he wasn't left-handed. Like, terrible, man. Like,
yo,
and
man, if y'all haven't seen this, it's posted on our Facebook page somewhere, man. Facebook.com/War Room Sports.
Oh.
50 Cent.
He Jamarcus.
Yo, a lot. I mean, we took a lot of man points from him for not attending his son's graduation, but now you're going up there throwing girly man pitches. Yo, you can't be tough when you throw a ball like that. You can't.
Because here's the thing. I've seen some bad ones and some that may be even as bad as his. Like, I saw the Justin Bieber threw one. That was terrible. But, yo, he was like...
Yeah,
he was really
Justin Bieber, though.
But that's my point. Like, the other one was like Mariah Carey. The only other one which might be worse, there might be the single worst, which is worse than 50's, is Carl Lewis. And Carl Lewis is a professional athlete.
Terrible. He's a world-class athlete.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Carl Lewis...
Wilbon threw a bad one. But Wilbon, Bieber, those type of dudes I expect to throw like girly men. But come on, 50. What you got on muscles for, man?
Yo, you know another bad one, Dad? Like, another bad one was like, Swaggy P did a joint at the Dodgers game. And
he
his
probably was
joint
high,
was,
though. I give him an excuse.
Yo, his joint was like, he tried so bad, like, not to mess it up, but he, like, threw it over the catcher's head. Like, yo.
But, Jim,
like, so his
do you see what he was going home with, though?
Yeah, I know.
You know what he going to do to
Oh, what about John Wall? I mean, John Wall had one, too, yo.
Yeah. It's still,
John
50's
Wall's
is real girly, man.
Yeah, 50's his top five.
No, you explained it to the T, though. Like, 50's looked like he threw a left-hand pitch, and he's not left-handed. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. And if I was
that's
him, that's the excuse I would do. Yeah, he definitely should be ashamed of himself, man. You know what I'm saying? How much should be more ashamed of that?
Shout out to Casey Mack in the chat room. He said 50 Cent's pitch was as bad as Carl Lewis singing the national anthem.
Yeah, Carl Lewis played himself several times, yo.
Carl Lewis plays himself every time he comes into the public eye, and he's not running or jumping. Like everything else is himself.
Carl Lewis like Booby Miles. He only know how to do one thing.
What's wrong with Eam? Anyway, man, speaking of 50 Cent's homie, Floyd Money Mayweather, he got into a little scrum with T.I.
Ex-homie.
I ain't finished the story yet. Floyd and T.I. got a little scrum over Tiny, supposedly, in a Vegas Fat Burger. My personal opinion, this is all trolling by Fat Burger to try to, get attention to them. This, sometimes you hear stories in life and you're like, yo, this is just not real. But nonetheless.
Yo, it's funny that Jimmy used. It's funny that you used the term trolling about something that was over Tiny.
Yo!
She looked like.
I ain't got no. Man, all I'm going to say is,
man, if y'all haven't heard this story, it was T.I. supposedly, they had words inside a casino. Supposedly it was over Tiny because there was an Instagram photo of Tiny hanging with T.I. Tiny hanging with Floyd. T.I. didn't like it. Floyd told him to control his female dog, and Floyd and his homies went to eat at Fat Burger, and then T.I. and his homies came in. According to Floyd and them, T.I., because supposedly T.I. took a swing at him, and then all hell broke loose. If you saw the video on WorldStar and all those other sites, chairs were flying and all of that. Floyd, he's denying that T.I. took a swing at him, but they said T.I. did get maxed out. If that's your lingo. If that's your lingo, T.I. got maxed out. T.I., hey, fellas, though, how childish has this whole thing been, though? Because they've each taken to, social media to plead their side. I'm talking about tweets. I'm talking about videos. T.I. came out with a video to prove that his eyes weren't black. Then it was, it's really, social media brings out the childish side and childish.
Yeah, I mean, social media is one of those things where it brings out it has its good things and its bad things, and this is just terrible, man. I just don't understand it. Like, I couldn't see,
I do.
No, but I just didn't, I couldn't think about it. Like, would Marvin Gaye and Magic, be brawling over a chick, and then, I don't understand this behavior. I also thought that Tiny must have like the greatest moisture in the world because, like, yo, she looks like Cedric Sabalas. But I just
No.
she must have
No,
like Erykah
she looks
Badu,
like
Olivia
a
Pope
pro
type stuff.
under the brick. She looks like the man. Never mind. That's that man's.
Yeah, we gonna leave that. We gonna leave that alone. No slander, because like she held him down when he was a nobody, and now that he's a somebody, he kept her around. So I forgot we called a term for that.
She played him out though. She even went to
Floyd.
social media. She went to social media and said that, you know, Tip was acting crazy out of jealousy. Like, you don't play your husband out like that.
No, but she played him out a couple times, and she also commented saying that everybody's getting mad at me, but y'all don't say nothing when he's out there taking pictures with randoms and all that, and you know how he be cheating on her basically. And so I kind of think that she did it on purpose. Like she knows his jealousy. She did it on purpose.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But you look like that.
Why she gonna do that with a boxer, man? She could get her husband maxed out, and that's not cool. Because seriously, you know, he stepped to a boxer, no gloves, and you know, I don't know what T.I.
Yo, he's a brave dude. He's a brave dude.
Yeah, I don't know what his fight game is like, but come on, that's a professional boxer. This dude does this for a living, so that's a dangerous situation. So if she's doing this to make him jealous. And
here's
you know
the
he's
biggest
like
part
that?
of the story.
That's crazy.
The biggest part of the story that I really hear no one talking about is the fact that he's going to tell him to control his B, right? Was like 2 weeks ago where he was like snapping over Nelly because Nelly was, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you didn't tell me to control your B.
Yo, there it's two sides of the same coin, and to be honest with you, T.I. probably in the right in a sense that you don't handle it this way, but that is his wife. That is his wife. That's his life partner, not a main John, not a personal, not a side piece, not a whatever. That's his wife. The problem that I have with all of this, it's well documented, my feelings about one Floyd Funny Mayweather. Like, we all know I think he's a coward and a bad human being. But in this instance, the reason that Trouble Man, a.k.a. T.I., a.k.a. King of the South, the reason that he gets knocked down a couple pegs on this is when you're in his position, yo, you don't marry something that look like that, man. Do y'all remember Treasure Troll?
Yo, you can't knock. Yo, come on, man.
Y'all remember Treasure? Nah, family. Nah,
but listen,
nah,
you can't.
Yo,
your biggest complaint about all this is the fact that she looks like Xavier McDaniel. That's your biggest complaint.
Yo, albino Xavier McDaniel.
But here's the thing, though. I don't knock him for that, man, because, I mean, my thing is, listen to me. Hear me out, man. Hear me out, man.
A thorough dude and roll over and see that.
No, my thing is, how you don't roll over and see that? We had this conversation before, man. These things are arranged, man. She held him down when he had nothing, man. So what he did was he kept her around, DMX style. But I guess the fact of the matter is she didn't know how to play her role. She got upset because he was going out and doing his thing. And because she got upset, you know, she decided to cause trouble to the trouble man. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is, you have to knock him for something else. T.I. already got like 2 strikes, yo. Like, they're going to put him under a prison. Like, they're looking for, especially he ain't really that hot right now musically. Do you understand? Like, they're going to, yo, you got to be careful out there, man.
Yo, my man is another one. He got a gun fetish too. He tried to cop Fort Knox
remember
Arsenal.
that? Yeah, he got locked up for trying to buy something
from a Kmart parking lot.
Might have been Aaron Hernandez's arms dealer. So,
it probably was. Another dude's on their worst behavior, man. Anyway, man.
All right, man. Well,
shout out to Casey Mack who said T.I. has more material for a new song. So we'll see what happens, man. Floyd got to stay out of trouble, man. Like Floyd, I got a whole other opinion on Floyd. I may save that for a blog or something, man. Cause
Floyd in some panties too, because Miss Jackson took him.
You should be ashamed of yourself, the way you carry yourself.
Yeah, another JoJo Award nominee, man. So, just to recap the JoJo Award nominees, we got Floyd and T.I., both of the JoJo Award nominee for their scrum in Vegas. 50 Cent is JoJo Award nominee for having an alternative lifestyle type pitch at a Mets-Pirates game. Aaron Hernandez gets a JoJo Award nomination for being Aaron Hernandez at this point. Like, as more and more information comes out. So those are our JoJo Award nominees for this week. We'll see if we have anybody to join them later on during the show. Gentlemen, who do you think's leading right now?
Gotta be
It's
Aaron,
hard
man.
not to give Aaron Hernandez. Yeah, like
He putting fire in
he-
people's doors because they bumped him and he spilled his drink. He gotta be.
Do
I
y'all
mean, he
think
has to
Aaron
be nominated for like one of the greatest JoJos that we've had so far in 3 years of this show.
Let me ask you a
ever
question, though,
of all time.
because the benchmark is Adrian Broner, though. So is he like reached Broner levels, or has he passed Broner?
Yo,
See,
it's
you
a
know the
different type
difference?
of just like
Yeah, you know the difference. Like
Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez makes the category not fun anymore. Like
yeah, it's not.
we
enjoyable.
usually do
We can't
this,
laugh
you
at
know,
this
to get a
shit.
laugh out of it. But his JoJo-ness is so serious that he just
Yeah, we
makes
might
the
have to make it-
category.
we might have to
He
make it
transcends
exempt.
the category. Yeah, we
he
might
has to be
have to have
exempt
a
from
serious
JoJo nomination from this point on, because he's
Yeah,
catching
'cause
bodies like.
Yeah,
I'm
because
trying to think.
we can't even laugh at him no more, man.
Yeah, he might have killed Biggie and Pac, like really, like. So
Yeah, he could have.
you gotta
When he was
just,
like
like-
12.
he was like 12 putting in work. He is no. And from this point on, Aaron Hernandez is exempt from JoJo Award nominations, man. So now we're gonna knock him out this week. It just goes to 50 Cent and Floyd and T.I. So we'll see what happens, man. But at any rate, man, Dev, tell everybody what's going on with the birthdays. You have to get some birthday shout outs.
All right, do that while Jimmy, y'all get our guests together because we're about to have a serious conversation with the homie Omar McGee from Executive Prep Academy out in Inglewood, California. We got to talk about these kids, sports, education, and all that. So we'll be right back with that. Right after I let you guys know that you can check out our website at warroomsports.com while you're there. Be sure to sign up for the War Report. That's our weekly newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send a message about the company, the show, to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities. For general inquiries, email us, info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the Memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the Blog tab to read our latest sports articles on the All Fair and Sports and War blog, and click the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our iTunes podcast, watch our videos at warroomsportstv.com, listen to our network at WRSPN.com, and download our free War Room Sports mobile app to get everything I just mentioned all on the go on your own device. So join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room to enter the chat room. Sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to do that, you can sign in through your Facebook and Twitter accounts. We know you have those. So while you're at it, you can click follow. You can get updates and reminders about the show every week. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. To call in and speak with us directly, dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. Now, if you guys been listening to our show for a long time, then you definitely know who Omar McGee is because he's one of our closest friends, and he's out in California making a difference for the children. You know, for the past few weeks, we've been talking a lot about youth and sports and education, and we're going to talk some more. And Omar's going to come and join us for the rest of the show as a special guest co-host. So, like we said, the founder of Executive Preparatory Academy of Finance out in California. Oh, what's up? You back in the war room, bro?
What up, fellas?
What's up,
Yo,
man?
what's going on?
What's good?
Yo, man, it's been 3 years, man. That is crazy, man. Congratulations on
3
that,
years,
man.
man.
Yeah, y'all
Oh,
doing
and
it.
we
Y'all doing it, bro.
haven't missed a Thursday in 3 years. We do
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
it'll
This
be
year,
4.
Christmas is on a Thursday. This is the test right here.
I was worried
You know
about
we're going to be on the air on
Thursday.
Christmas.
Yeah, I ain't worried about y'all.
We like government checks.
No doubt.
You know they
No
coming.
doubt.
Look, man, so, glad to have you with us. Like I said, I hope you ready, strapped in because you in it for the long haul today. So, we're going to have this conversation.
Yeah.
But after that, we're going to go back and we're going to talk some basketball. We're going to do it like we used to do it back in the day. So,
No doubt.
before we get into that, let me give you a little background on the series that we've been having. Like, last week we spoke to, I don't know if you saw the documentary on ESPN2 and ESPN Classic called We Could Be King, but it took a look at the budget situation in Philadelphia, where the school budget, they had a shortfall of like $300 million in 24 public schools in the city of Philadelphia, and you're familiar with the city. You've been there plenty of times. You know how big it is and how many schools there are. They closed 24 public schools in Philadelphia. One of them was Germantown High School, which is one of the oldest schools in the city. They had to merge. Like, the students had to merge with their rivals. First of all, we know from a social standpoint that's kind of dangerous because those are two violent districts. They're sports rivals. They're just neighborhood rivals. So we had on the show Coach Dunn, who was highlighted in that documentary because, watching that documentary, we thought that he really cared about the kids. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot of stuff. He had to help them transition into being students and his team being student athletes with the rival school. And Dick's Sporting Goods was doing something where, called Sports Matter, where they were trying to raise money because of these budget shortfalls in a lot of big cities. Sports is like on the chopping block. Now, when we talk about kids and people caring about the kids and doing things for the kids, we thought of you. One thing before we get started, though, we definitely got to congratulate you. That's first things first, man.
Oh, thank you.
EPA has just completed its first school year. How did that feel, man? How did it feel to get to the last day of school and everything was up and running like you envisioned? How was that?
Man, it was great, man. You just grind. Sometimes you don't realize the success you have because your head is down, always grinding, figuring things out, and bringing money, trying to give them unlimited resources and keeping them on an even playing field. But, after the end, man, our kids was crying, man. They didn't want to go home, man. It was like really, we filmed it too. It was crazy, man. They stayed till like 7 o'clock at night. Like, when was the last time you heard that? Kids didn't want to go home.
That's crazy. That's a special atmosphere because when we went to school, like, we're looking at the clock all day, like, dang, it's only 12 o'clock. Like, I'm trying to get out of here. Like, especially on the last day of school. Like, you ready to go out and do whatever.
And we don't get it twisted. We had a few of those. We had a few of those too, but on a majority level, it was definitely it was crazy. It was crazy. The effect that this program, kids in the community, man.
This is B. And for those of our listeners who aren't familiar, with not only you and how far back we go, Executive Preparatory Academy of Finance. Give our listeners an explanation of the vision and the movement. How did it come about? Where are you now? What is the purpose of this and your vision?
Well, what the purpose is this. It's like we're giving our kids an even playing field. What we're doing is, like, if you notice, education is the only thing that ignores innovation. And what that means is the way they was teaching 50 years ago, they still teaching now. But if you look at the way kids absorb information, everything is fast. So sitting in the classroom, listening to a teacher for 50, 60 minutes, whatever it may be, is like prehistoric. And then they, give our kids all these drugs, and they, their ADD, attention deficit, all these different things, which is, it's just the fact that, they haven't supported our kids in the way they supported, or they haven't caught up with the times of education or how our kids learn. So what we do is we just, we give them instant gratification. We show them how to make money. We develop businesses for them. Well, not for them, but they develop their own businesses. We do project learning. We make it fast. We make education fun again, and we teach them everything it is to know about finances, which they love. And when you teach a kid how to make money, it's not hard to keep his attention, and that's what executive prep is about.
Right. Yeah, because there is definitely that financial literacy gap.
I have a question, because you talked about how education, for the most part, is still taught the same way, and how that's kind of antiquated. So when you come with this new approach, what kind of backlash did you have? Because there's always going to be backlash. People say it shouldn't be done this way just because. They don't have a reason. They just say just because.
No, that's a long story totally, but I try to break it down. But, it was, that's why I had to put up my own money to make this happen, because it wouldn't have happened any other way. And me not having an educational background at all was just like, crazy, like, who does this guy think he is? So a lot of the educators looked at me as, an idiot in the beginning, like, who does this guy think he is? He's going to blow all his money. He don't know what he's doing. But one thing I have over them is I was an inner city kid that was hungry, and all of us know what that feel like. So the way I approached it was just changing everything. So my concept is very easy. The way we put, if I told you guys it's 2 kids coming from LA right now about to go into the NBA draft, that's not foreign to you. That's very common. So I take the same approach with education. I'm like, listen, man, I'm about to show y'all how to make money right now. Let's not wait. Like you guys can be millionaires by 18. Let's push the envelope. Let's see, can we do that? And right now we got kids got their own lotion line, T-shirt companies, apparel. They building. I got one kid, Pay Tech. They're designing computers specifically for the company that they're targeting. So if you have a radio show, right, they build a computer strictly for your company. And it's killing. They making money right now. I mean, LLCs, bank accounts. U.S. Bank just locked a big deal with us where all our kids get bank accounts, and they putting a percentage in of every kid account. Every kid account going to their business. So we're just changing the concept, man. We're just giving them instant gratification, which they need. And what's crazy? Our kids don't even trip on sports.
Right.
They not
and that's exactly. Why it's good to have you on, to have this conversation, because, what we're going to talk about, it kind of revolves around sports. But throughout the conversation, for all the kids listening, we got to let them know that there are other options out there. Like, nobody wants to be a dream shatterer. You know what I'm saying? If that's sports is what you want to do, go for your dream. But at the same time, you have to know that there are other options out there for you to fall back on, but you need certain things to be able to fall back on them. So,
no question.
So getting back to the whole education thing, and talking about why we started this conversation in the first place. Oh, when you started now you said the sports, like y'all don't have sports teams at all, or is it an intramural thing, or
not this year. This is the last thing. Sports was the last thing I'm going to spend money on, like right now. Actually, starting the year, I just want to make sure all the necessities are covered. Now, next year, we have, basketball. Only thing we won't have next year is football, but we have everything else.
Okay. Now, you grew up playing a lot of sports. And what we talked about with the coach last week was the importance of youth sports since they were on the chopping block. And we talked about how growing up, being a part of teams, a team building thing, a lot of coaches that you meet along the way can become father figures. Like, sports can be a really positive thing. Can you speak on some of that? Like, growing up in Flint, Michigan, I know you played a lot of basketball. Like, how important was sports to, the man that you've become?
Yeah, it's very important, but you got to understand that's all we had, so that's all we knew. We don't know. We don't know what else is out there. So you have to understand, like, with education, our kids, true story, I wish I had my staff in here. Like, 2 weeks before school broke, before school was out, we had 2 kids, one from Jordan Down and Watts project, big project out here, and another kid from Compton. They in the middle of the class fighting, like scrapping. I'm talking about scrapping. So we grab them, we throw them against the wall. Like, man, what are y'all fighting for? Man, he up here telling me I was just looking at the stock market. He's telling me Apple stock is higher than Twitter. This is what they're fighting over.
Yo.
What? You know what I mean? And, like, this is a true story. Like, I'm like, yo, like, how do you discipline that? You know what I mean? But what I'm saying, what I'm getting at is the fact that we have kids now that's just as competitive on the business end as we were in sports back in the day. So in my head, I'm saying to myself now, like, man, that's crazy, because if we had this head start, like, if I had this head start, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine where I'd be today. I mean, Brad, Dev, how many mistakes we made just not knowing. Like, we all made them. Like, credit card. I mean, I first got my credit card, I went down to Daytona Beach and blew everything. That's my credit card.
No incriminating stories. No incriminating
but I
stories.
always question that, though, man. I always question the system of why they would give college students with no jobs credit cards with nice credit limits, and then, expect you to be able to
why
build
to
off
lock
that.
you
It's
in.
a setup, man.
That's a
setup from the
Ronald Reagan. Never mind. All I'm saying is,
what I appreciate about what you're doing is you're taking the time to step outside of the paradigm and influence cultural change at a systemic level, at an institutional systemic level. And that's something that we've seen before, but the approach that you're taking, I feel as though it's very different because you're equipping our young people with life skills. And these are things that transfer to them stepping outside of the classroom immediately.
Yeah, it's the same conversations we all had in college. Deb, you know this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's like when you start looking at school, like we all sit down like, man, why the hell am I taking this class? This is stupid. I'm not going to use this in life. Well, what we do is we just take that curriculum and like, look, this is how you're going to make money, and this is how it's going to help you to where it makes sense on the elementary level, and then we go from there. Like, if you don't understand it, it's like, man, like, you know, what am I taking science for? The school to be a film.
Man, the only classes that I've ever done well in were the ones that, you know, that interest me because of what I wanted to do, you know.
Exactly. But and later on in life, you may, you know, you're like, damn, I'm glad I learned that class. I mean, I went to that class or I took that class serious because it helped me even though I didn't want to. Like, you know, political science, I never thought in a million years when I was going to school to be a filmmaker that political science would be so important right now to me. Like now understanding government and getting politicians on my side and, you know, they got to report to the Bill Clinton office every other day and, you know, all those things is like very helpful for me now. But we have to, you know, build that so kids can understand that just because it doesn't make sense to you now. But then also, too, like what's very important is kids have to believe in you. Like, man, Mr. McGee, I don't understand. You just have to do this and you'll understand why when you get older. Or in a few more years, you're going to understand why.
Kids have a radar for bullshit. Kids have a radar. Their spirit is so pure that they can sense disingenuousness off the bat. And so they are who you have to establish credibility. If you say you're going to do something, you have to do something. If you say you're about something, you have to be about it, because the minute that you're not, it's going to be triple the work to get them back. Especially in the environment that you're working in, because they're used to people throwing them away with the trash. They're the disenfranchised youth. So
and that's key. And I took the Howard philosophy. Really, it's like, y'all know, man. Like I ain't gonna say not miss class, but I definitely didn't want to miss being on the yard because it was so you don't know who was gonna pop up or in the punch out.
Right.
It's so exciting because you're like, damn, if I don't go on campus today, somebody might pop up, and I don't want to miss it. You know. So we had that same thing, man. We have all type of people come through, man. And what we do is we set the bar high. Like when I first started the school, I asked all the kids what they wanted to be, and they wanted to be bank teller, garbage men, security guards. Like these are actual true dreams of theirs, you know, outside of basketball and sports. You know, they all in the beginning they all said NBA and NFL, no question about it. But take that away, this is what their expectations were. So I was like, man, no, this is not going to work. So what we did was we just brought all the black influential. I was bringing the highest paid black lawyer, the biggest firms in Ernst & Young. They sponsored our whole career day. We had people up here worth $350 million. Like I don't bring nobody regular around. That's not even a question. Like you can't. Like I work at this company. I'm a secretary, and none of that. No policeman, no fireman.
Gotta keep the motivation up. Yeah.
And your expectation. Like if you talk to our kids now, it's all lawyers, doctors, business owners, CEO. That's what they think about. If the bank teller now, he want to own his own bank or want to be a CEO of a bank. So the expectations are higher. I just push the limit. Like I don't let good get in the way of great at all. And we keep those influences in front of them that look like them. Man, it's very powerful, man. It's very powerful.
Right.
Oh, let me tell you about the little scrum you told us about. Like, you know, we don't condone violence. We don't want the students fighting, but that's one of the more impressive fights I've ever heard of. The reason that they were fighting. I mean, usually you still got people our age who might come to blows because somebody dissed LeBron James, and they're over here in a fist fight because they're arguing about the stock market. How impressive is that?
You had Aaron Hernandez who would get a drink spilled on his sneaks, and you see what he did.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, and it's just
can you tell us a little bit more about the curriculum and then also the fundraising process that you go through?
Well, hold up, B, because, you know, we got, because, like I said, he's in it for the long haul. He's co-hosting with us now. and we have another guest on the line. But before we get Andre on, let's talk about, let's bring up the topic first. It's this mentality, B and Jimmy, the mentality of a lot of youth in lower income areas that, you know, sports, entertainment, or basically, you know, the street life, frankly, is the only way to quote unquote make it out. You know, and that's a mentality that has basically plagued our community for a long time. And, you know, we all know the famous Biggie line, either you're slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. As a matter of fact, that's the name of this episode, because that mentality is so deep within the community. Like, we got to talk about this. And that's why, you know, we're going to bring our next guest onto the line. Andrea, she's a former WNBA player. Actually, her athletic path took her through Julia R. Masterman School in Philly. That's one of the best high schools in Philly. So that's not just, you know, something from her athletic past. She was already setting up her background to be more than just an athlete. She went on to play at Penn State University, was drafted by the Seattle Storm. Now she's a teacher and the athletic director at Mastery Charter School, one of Mastery's charter schools in Philadelphia. So we're going to get her on the line for the first time in the War Room. Andrea Gardner, what's up?
Hi, how are you, fellas?
Pretty good. How are you?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Just leaving work.
Okay, we're not going to hold you too long. We got a full round table. We definitely want to get your perspective because, you know, we had an interesting time when we came to speak at your school. And what we're talking about, we just brought the topic up, was the mentality that we kind of talked about a little bit while we were there. You know, sports. It was mainly sports, but, you know, we always got to throw in entertainment and maybe stuff on the streets, drug dealing, stuff like that. That has always been a mentality in the lower income communities. Like, you have to do one of those three in order to, quote unquote, make it out or make it big. What we wanted to ask you was, you know, speaking to your students every day, and we were witness to some of these conversations. Like, we all know that the likelihood of becoming a pro athlete or a successful entertainer is very small. I forgot who was there who actually broke down the stats that we kept up on the blackboard all day. But we know that the likelihood and the actual statistics are really low. So can you speak on what the importance, the role that education plays in all this? How important is education with our youth, you know, especially because they think that, you know, they have to be a rapper or an athlete to make it out of the hood?
Right. Basically, I mean, they have a higher chance of being an astrophysicist or something like that than a professional athlete or an entertainer. The reality is, you know, from where our kids come from and what they see every day, whether they're from a single-parent household or like they're watching someone struggle to make it, the despair they see every day, the only outs that they see from people that look like them are the athletes, are the rappers, because somebody from their hood actually made it out, and those are the examples that they see. They don't get to see, like I was listening to the show, and the man from California, Omar. Sorry about that. But
no problem.
exposing them to professional people that look like them can change their whole mentality. And they don't have enough exposure to those type of people. During our panel, I mean, I still, there are kids now who loved that panel that we did, and I guess I'm okay with being the dream breaker, the dream cruncher. But the reality is, like, the chance that they actually become a professional athlete is slim to none. I mean, there's so many things that have to be in place and something to control over that I would rather them put a lot more energy in becoming, and I don't mind them loving the sport, but they can be a coach. Right, they can be a general manager. They can look beyond just being the athlete into other areas of sports. So I try to focus on that to make sure that they understand how important education is. And I'm like, even if you were the greatest basketball player coming out of Philadelphia, we have fantastic basketball players that come out of Philadelphia, right? And how many of them are actually on an NBA roster? I don't know.
Exactly.
But, like, if you look around, I'm like, look around. You know this boy from this school, because you're always talking about is averaging 30 a game. He's averaged 30 a game throughout his high school career. You average 5 points at one of the, like, lowest level of high schools in the city, and you think you're going to the NBA. It's like it's not even an option for you, buddy. I'm sorry. But let's look at what can be options for you, and I think that's important. So while I'm really realistic with the kids, I try to then give them some support in ways that they can be successful that no one can take away. Like, even if they break a leg, they can still be great at, whatever other dreams they have. So what I like about our school, too, is exposing them to other opportunities, and that's what that career day is usually for.
Yeah, so, like, when we were there, like, the whole sports panel, I don't know what they expected before the whole thing went down, but, we did give them alternatives. Like, you can, even if you love sports and you want to be a part of sports, there's a whole lot of things that you can do in the world of sports without actually being on the court, on the field, or whatever. And you're right, because I think by the end of the day, I think that we did start to get through to a lot of the kids, because when we first started, I think in all 3 sessions, I think we were batting about 1,000 as far as, when we asked people what they wanted to do, everybody was going to the league in some sport. So, yeah,
and some of them don't even play the sport. It's amazing. Like, I have a student, and they're like in our 10th grade year, they have to do it's an exhibition night. They have to they have to think about what they want to be. They have to talk about what schools they want to go to. I have a young man, and he's dead serious. 10th grader. He says he wants to go to USC and walk onto their football team, and he doesn't play football. Yeah. And I don't understand how you even think that that's a possibility for you. Like,
it's hard on it.
It's where they are. But that goes to just not having options. That right there is like he don't have nothing else to say he can do positive.
Right.
That's not even.
He
don't believe that.
It's a challenge.
You're right.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and we all know that children have the benefit and the gift of imagination and dreaming. And so it's the job of the community and the job of culture to temper those dreams and those gifts and those abilities and kind of direct them in the right direction, if you will. So in our community, there's a huge void. So what do they see? They see the guy that's making money maybe in a ulterior manner, or he's hustling, he's getting money or whatever. They see this false, pretentious picture of professional athletes coming back to the community, which what it really isn't that they're coming back, it's that they're marketed, and they go through the social media now today, the television. So kids deal with the images that they see, and then you have to deal with the fact that there's a void there. Why? Because mommy and daddy, aren't necessarily professionals or educated or giving them those options to look at other things. So the void really, I would say, lands on other African American, or not even just African American, but other people to come back to their communities and establish that presence and show these kids what their options are. So it's incumbent upon professionals such as yourself to be a visible and vocal and valuable presence, which you guys are doing and we're trying to do, to give these kids options. Without them, then it all becomes a dream deferred.
You're right.
And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that we got to find a bigger stage to dance on, because look what we're competing with. We're competing with the NBA, NFL, and television. And that's why I always tell people all the time, like, we can't rely on the government to educate our kids. We got to do it ourselves. And another thing at that point is the fact that you get your middle class parents that work at, honest living, but they hate their job. They come home every day like, man, I hate this, and they drinking. I can't wait to retire. I can't stand my job. And then you ask your kid to go to school and get a job. But look at that image. You see, they
I have a question for both of you, Andrea, as well as Omar, because one of the things I find interesting, and this is Jimmy, by the way, is that we do have other success stories which are never highlighted. You know, the entertainers and the athletes are always highlighted. Now, I know, Omar, you said that you're trying to do something a little bit different, and I applaud you for that. But I talk to a lot of successful professionals, extremely successful. And a lot of times I ask them, have you been to this school or have you done this? And they say, I'm never even asked. How do we change that dynamic? Because I know there's certain schools that will have an athlete, a rapper come right away, but they won't do the same for those other professions, even if they have an extreme level of success.
Oh, man, we try our best to get professionals to come. I mean, this past year, our internship coordinator who coordinates Career Day reached out everywhere to try to get people to come. And a lot of it is making yourself available. There's only so much we can do. We ask for referrals. We get all the teachers to say, okay, who do you know in different fields so that they can come and they do all the invitations and things like that. But if you know people who say they haven't been asked, please, and especially if they're in the Philadelphia area, give me their names. We will ask them. We really don't want to have the sort of typical professions. We don't. In our sports day panel, I don't know how many of us was professional athletes. Maybe I was, and that was it. But we wanted to show them that, all right, you want a career in sports? There are other ways to enjoy your passion, to find a job within your passion.
And I see you guys have the program, but it's funny because I don't know how many schools have that same program. Is that something that you guys have started? That's not a district thing, is it?
Every mastery school has it. So there's some things that are
it's within mastery. Got you.
Yeah, mastery.
It's within the mastery system.
I'm not sure about the school district, but every mastery school has Career Day. It's mandatory.
I like Omar. I like the fact that your program and mastery as well to a degree kind of celebrates the entrepreneurial spirit, because that's something kind of coming from a commercial banking background, something that from a macroeconomic perspective, small business is the engine of our domestic economy. And that's something that, may be lost on kids, because a kid's experience with small business is mom and pop may own a business, or granddad may own a business, or, the poppy store or whatever. But in reality, there are far more small business enterprises than there are big conglomerates. And you can become wealthy, you can create wealth, you can create riches, and more importantly, you can create your own happiness through entrepreneurship. And so being able to point to and celebrate the entrepreneur is something that, that's my biggest, if anything, that's my biggest salute to Omar, is that he celebrates the entrepreneurial spirit, as I see Mastery does as well.
Yeah, I definitely wish we could do more of that at Mastery. But I think a lot of our administrators are scared of allowing them to think that they can start things on their own. I really feel like we sort of breed workers, and there are some of our students who are going to be great, but I feel like they're going to be workers all their life. They're not going to be confident enough and strong enough to branch out on their own and say, hey, I want my own. I want to start my own.
Right.
So I do love that Omar does that with his students.
What the thing about, with a lot of professionals, what I do is I always try to make it stupid for them not to come. So the same way you throw a party, what you do when you throw a party, you get a big celebrity, right? And everybody comes, and however it works. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I bring in, so for instance, if I have Ernest & Young sponsoring my Career Day, already know, or Bruce Greenberg, who just sold his tech company for $350 million, I'm going to get everybody in the world because they want to rub shoulders with these guys. So I mean, everything is, and this is what I mean when I say we have to start.
You make it a networking event, so it's a win-win-win
for everybody. And what happens is you have, all these people rubbing shoulders, everybody excited, they feel good about it, but it makes sense for everybody. You know what I mean? But this goes back to what I'm saying. We have to educate our own children. We have to do it ourselves now because, and I know you run a lot of challenges just because the administration is still, they rotary phones. They just they don't want to do anything different. And that's what I mean when I say the same thing for fit. Like, I know you have to fight against the administration as much as you're trying to educate the kids, right?
Right.
And that wear people out. So that's what I'm saying. We have to develop our own schools and do it our way, because we're the only ones that can relate to our children the way they need to be related to and make sense to them. Because it's only so long before she just be like, yo, hell with this, man, I'm tired. Let me move to another school or move to another situation because y'all not getting it. And that's what happened to a lot of our educators.
That is absolutely true.
Andrea, quick question for you, because we know that you are the, you're a realist with the kids. That's your approach. But how difficult is it? I just want to know, how difficult is it for you to be realistic with children when you yourself were a professional athlete? Because I'm sure some of them may try to throw that in your face, like, well, you did it. Well, how do you respond to stuff like that?
I had game, bitches.
I am not ever, never take for granted the opportunities that were presented to me. But I will always say that it was not just me. Like, there were things in place and in order that I had no control over, and I was just blessed to have the opportunity that I had. Now, I'm not taking anything away from myself, being that I worked hard, but there were a lot of people who worked hard. And so, I believe that God had a purpose for me, and that's where he put me, and I took advantage of those opportunities. I'm always clear with the kids, like, okay, at all times you have to present your best self, because you never know who's watching. You never know what opportunities will present themselves because of what you're presenting. And so I am a realist, and I will say, like, okay, you're 5'7", and you can't jump, and you're not fast. But this is what you do well. And I have a 5'7" person, and he's not a bad player. He's actually a really good player. He sees the floor very well. But at every game, then, you're going to have to show coaches who may be coming out what else you bring. And if you don't do those type of things, then your opportunities become much smaller and much smaller, and you're just not like. And so I give them a benefit too. Like, I don't just say that you're horrible and you're not gonna make it. Like, I give them everything. I give them the plus sides, or like what they do well. I tell them what they need to improve on. I'm just realistic with even if you're great, it doesn't mean that you're going to get there. You can break a leg tomorrow, and you have to make sure you have something to fall back on. But I was very fortunate in the position I was in, and I look back on it, and like a girl from Mastering actually going to the WNBA to this day, that has never happened again. And I tell them that too. Like, look, I was the first person to get a full ride to a D1 school. It has never happened again. That's how the chances are. Like, and I was just fortunate. And you can't teach me. You can't teach 6'3", right? So something is genetic, but it just doesn't happen often.
No, I mean, when we were there, I appreciate the real approach. I mean, we can always tell people, don't give up on your dreams. If you really want it, work hard for it. But the importance, especially what we're speaking here tonight, like, you have to, place education on a higher level, because you have to have stuff to fall back on when life hits you. Because for most people, life will hit you. And yeah, exactly.
Listen, my career didn't last as long as I wanted it to. And for those that do, I have friends who played in the league for 10 years or 12 years, and when they're finished playing, they have no idea what they want to do. Like, because they haven't had to think about it, and you have to know what you're going to do. Females are, to me, a better situation in that we all usually graduate from college, so we are never in a position where we leave early and we making so much money that we don't have to think about it. So, it's always in the back of our mind, what are we going to do, what are we going to do? But for a young man who basketball, that's all they've ever known, that's all that they've done, and something either tragic happens or, they just don't reach the level that they want or make the money, what are you going to do? Because you can't just quit. You can't give up on life. So, and that's real talk. And there's a lot of them in Philly that they haven't seen.
All right, so there it is. Andrea, we're glad, that you came on to join this conversation with us. Like I said, we weren't going to hold you too long. So thank you for coming on. You got us anytime you guys have career day, and we will spread the word for everybody out there talking about nobody's asked you or nobody called you. We're going to call you. We're going to see what you're talking about. So.
And Andrea, real quick, if anybody that's listening, one of our from our audience wants to volunteer for Career Day, and I'm calling you out there, volunteer for Career Day, how would they get information on that?
Okay, so our internship coordinator, her name is Latoya, Latoya. I'm giving you their email address.
Okay.
Coley, so it's Latoya.Coley, Coley, @masterycharter.org, and she will. All you have to do is send her an email to say you are interested. She will take care of the rest of giving you all the information you need, locations, dates. We provide a small breakfast and some lunch. So please you email her, and she'll get everything to you. We love when we get new people coming to the panel to keep it fresh. So please have them call or email.
Also, I want to introduce you to a guy by the name of Marcus Knuckles, who's out there in Philly. I'd love to introduce you to. He can definitely help you out with that a lot.
Sure.
Okay. We'll definitely get everybody. We'll get everybody connected off air. Now, you guys out there listening, you have the email address. It's on air. It will forever be stored in our podcast. You can always go back and listen. But on top of that, we have that information as well. So there's no excuses whatsoever. We have Latoya's information. We found out at Career Day that she's Howard University alum, so she's family too. So we're definitely going to help you guys out with that because, we love what you're doing. So thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. Let me know when you need me to come back. I enjoyed it.
No doubt. We will because we have these conversations plenty of times per year, so we'll be in touch.
All right. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. That's Andrea Garner, everybody. And I know a lot of people may have been getting that mixed up. Right? Remember, there was another at Howard. We had a female basketball player. No. She went to Penn State. But remember, at Howard, we had a Andrea Gardner with a D in the middle.
Got it.
Yeah, so a lot of people, even when you Google them, if you Google them, they mix up. The Wikipedia entry is mixed up. Like they have some of Andrea that we were just talking to. They have some of her information in there, and they have some of the one that played ball for Howard because they both actually got drafted into the WNBA. I forgot to ask her about that. Like if you ever get mixed up with each other.
Andrea, we just call her the Dream Shatterer. Like she had a dream.
She was killing them kids, man. But a lot of them.
No, that's real. You have to do that. You have to do that. Like you have to be very.
You got to be honest with them, man.
You got to be honest with them. If you don't, life is gonna be honest with them. So you might as well start early. Like don't.
Yeah,
let
that's
life
what I was saying. Life will hit at some point. I got a question for you guys though. Let's take it past high school. Let's take it to college. Like, where do you guys see? What's the importance of a college degree these days? Now we talk about this all the time when we talk about when we get into that conversation, especially when kids are in college on an athletic scholarship. We've been talking about for the past 2 years of whether or not college athletes should be paid, and we all don't agree on that whole notion, but that's a different story. But my thing is, how much should those guys, even though we know that a lot of them are there for another reason, they're there to play basketball, they're in college to play football, but how much should they value the education that they're getting at the same time? I mean, because we just talked about it plenty of times, like you need something to fall back on. So how important is a college education these days?
Dev, I think this question is very complex. It's difficult to answer because these days colleges are banks, but that's a whole other story. But in terms of the athletes that go to play, a lot of them don't value it, so therefore they can't take full advantage of the college experience or getting a college degree because in their head, just by them having a scholarship, they already think that they're going to the pros. If you talk to anyone who's on an athletic scholarship, they could be in D3. You can't tell them they're not going to the pros. Like, so
and I'm not going to say all because I don't like to generalize, but I don't even want to say majority. A lot of them, they just
you can say
don't.
majority.
they just don't take full advantage of it. So therefore, it doesn't even have the same value. It just doesn't have the same value because a lot of them, especially when you have situations like what happened at certain universities. Shout out to the Tar Heels, where they're just rubber stamping you and letting you go through classes anyway. You're not even getting the education. So you may have a degree from a university, but in a lot of cases, like do you realize that who was it, J.R. Ryder, who had a degree in basket weaving? Like, what do you want to do with that?
Right.
Well, I have a different approach with that. I think athletes success has nothing to do with degrees. Period. Like once you really get out here and understand how it really works, it's all about relationships. And when you get into that college world, if you're a star, the exposure you have to opportunity is crazy, regardless if you go to the NBA or not. If I play for Kentucky, it's no way I should have to use my degree at all because you have direct access to you're talking about the biggest CEOs in the world that went to Kentucky. You're talking about like USC alone. You have access to the richest people in the world. I just went to one of their banquets. It was a guy that just gave him $35 million like it was nothing. You understand? And you're talking about being Reggie Bush. If Reggie Bush don't make it to the NFL, his life is over. Hell with that degree. If somebody want to say, but these people want to take you under their wing and show you just to be associated with you. But it's just not understanding those relationships and what to do with them. Because I don't think it has anything to do with your degree when you're at that point at all. You look at Montein Cleaves. Like, look at his career right now. He's making more money than he ever made. And he got the first round. He got $3.4 million. He's making more money now than he. I mean, that was just the relationship with Tom Izzo.
In all fairness, though, I would say that we can go back to the original question, and I can say that college, it's a difficult answer because it also depends on where you're coming from and what you value. But some of what you're saying stems from two things. Your personality is that of a master networker who's going to cultivate and value relationships. And as you've moved through life and you've mastered several businesses and now you have the school, it's only natural for you to cultivate and build those relationships. That has nothing to do with a degree. You have folks that are rocket scientists that can't network their way out of a paper bag with their relatives. So being a networker, if it's not natural, then it has to be taught. And networking isn't necessarily a degreed skill. That's interpersonal skills.
Yeah, but also I never was the number one player in the nation going to Kentucky either. It's elementary.
But a lot of those guys don't understand the value of that influence. They don't understand the value of that ability to network. And if they do, that comes from, I'll give you an example. That comes, a guy like Kobe. Kobe never went to college, but his education from his parents and his surroundings up until the point where he left high school was more advanced than a lot of guys that ended up going to college because of the background and the culture that he came from. I can go to Kentucky, I can go to Kansas and be Josh Selby. Josh Selby doesn't know anything about networking. Josh Selby doesn't know the value of the trustees and the alumni association.
But majority of them don't know the value of a degree either because they still go work at Wendy's or a low level job.
No, I don't think you guys are really like disagreeing. I just think that the thing is knowing the value of that. Like Omar, what you said was, it's all in the relationships and the people you meet or what have you. But do they know that going in? Do they take advantage of that? That's the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is
I don't think they take advantage of anything. I don't think they take advantage of even having the degree. I don't think they take advantage of the net.
Yeah,
and what I'm saying is the fact that it's not the fact that.
Well, let me put this out to the floor because in our chat room, shout out to Mojo from the season ticket. In her opinion, she believes that the value of a college degree has diminished recently.
Absolutely.
So do you guys agree with that? Has it diminished over the years?
Absolutely.
Well, I think that it did, but statistics are showing that the value of just a bachelor's degree now is actually going back up. They're saying that I forgot the percentage because I just had a conversation about this all last week because we were actually talking about like student loans and how people feel with that debt after the fact, and there were some people who feel like their degree and frankly their experiences, their life experience throughout college wasn't worth the debt that they're now in for the rest of their life. And some people, even if their job isn't related to their degree, they still feel differently because they think college kind of molded them into the person that they are now. But, there was an article that was brought up saying that in recent years, the value of an education, and they're basing value off of salaries, of course. Salary people with a bachelor's degree versus people with a high school diploma. It's going back up, but I see what you
that could be true.
I think for a long time it was diminished for a long time.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I believe that research right now because I still see
listen, though,
a different picture.
They probably have salaries, right? They probably have salaries that they hate their job and they come home and drink and tell their kids how they hate their job and then Omar got to deal with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the value of a bachelor's degree that's why. And Jimmy's gonna love this because I think you'll buy into the conspiracy theory here. The value of a bachelor's degree has diminished because I can get more money with master's degree and graduate degree programs. So now you step into the workplace or working arena with just a bachelor's, and you've put a ceiling or a cap on your earning potential that states you got to go back and get a graduate degree. Now, in all fairness, I think that the entrepreneurial path is different from, I think you need degrees more so in the workforce than you do to be an entrepreneur, to be your own boss. The only thing that allows you to do that is the ass kicking that you're going to take. You got to take that ass kicking.
No, I think you can argue that both ways because if I look at Omar's angle, right, the connections I can make with going to a institution of higher learning and going through certain classes with people could help me with that, the entrepreneurial path.
That's true.
But my question to you fellas is how can we get these, especially the student athlete? I mean, first of all, we need to get everybody engaged and valuing education. But once we get to the college level and people are getting scholarships to play sports, like how can we get them to value that? Like especially now. All right, right now it's not realistic. You're not getting paid for what you do, no matter how many, no matter how much you think and other people think you should get paid. You're not getting paid to play right now. It's still an amateur status thing. So how can we get them to value that education? And I know the higher you climb the ladder, the more it's going to be harder to tell somebody that they're not going to be a professional athlete because like what Andrea was talking about, she's getting to these kids early. But once a guy is playing D1 and he is having some success, he still ends up falling into that statistic of somebody who you didn't make it to the professional level.
Listen,
how do we get them engaged to where that degree means something to them?
Because you can see how many of these athletes, we saw the film Broke and how many stories, but you can't tell it's like you can't tell anyone that. Like their idea is it's not going to be me. That's them. It isn't me. This starts at a young age. So we need to make
I won't
executive prep has to go worldwide. That's what we need to do. Like we need more executive prep.
And totally that's the goal. But on a flip side of that is when you go to the NBA, it's just like when people move to LA and meet a rich friend. They never think they got me. So when you playing on a team, when you look at Michigan State, you look at Kentucky, you look at, okay, I'm boys with Johnny Manziel. His family is rich as hell. I'm on scholarship. I'm going to the NFL. You actually feel invincible. I mean, this is the biggest curse of millionaires. Broke because the invincibility, how they start to feel like, they can't touch me. This is my guy. I know he got me. Now my whole life depends on his success. Even if this is my plan B, and everybody is going to be in a
you just touched on a great point that it's not only the hanger-oner, but what about the guy that's going to struggle to make that team? Because let's face it, the average career for a professional football player, I believe, is 3 years. The average career for a professional basketball player is, I believe, 4 years. There's only 500 slots in the NBA. I think there's about 1,300 slots in the NFL. You can go through a 3 or 4 year span and make $2 million, but what then? That's not the end of your life. You have the rest of your life as a young person to live.
Yeah.
You
and $2 million, as much as it may sound, is
money.
Nothing when you don't have any income coming in.
You've only gotten 60% of that $2 million because you had to pay the taxes on it, and you don't know how to manage that money. So I have a ton of acquaintances, I'm sure we all do, guys that have, quote-unquote, made it, but what did that really mean at the end of the day? Because 5 years, 7 years out of the league, they're a regular person.
Yo, we've had. Listen, I'm gonna keep it. I can keep it honest. Like, yo, and we're not even like slamming college because like within the war room we got like 10 degrees between all of us. Like, you know, so we can speak from both sides as entrepreneurs and people who have went to college. You know what I mean? So, and shout out to Sally Mae for sweating me every day. But the fact of the matter is, it's sort of like a couple of comments we have in the chat room. All right, Mojo's commenting again. She says that people need teams around them to help them develop, but not only as an athlete, but as a person as well. You know, and that's the thing. They're not developing as people. And also at Casey Mack on Twitter chimed in and said he sees it all the time that folks have master's degrees and they owe $50, $60,000 and they make less than someone who has a high school education. Sometimes they work for him, Casey Mack. I mean, you see it all the time. But I think the whole thing goes down to valuing the experience, as not just a degree, but the experience of college and understanding what it is going out. The whole concept of you go to college and you get a good job, like that's whack. Like, you have to change the paradigm.
You know what's funny
understand what the experience is.
You know what's funnier than that? That same person that you're talking about that's in debt, they'll go back to school. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like they'll go right back to school. Like, I think I want to do this. Like, word. Like, you already at 60. Like, you gonna go back to
keep going.
40 or 50. Like, they keep going. But the flip side,
a lot of people enroll in school just so the debt can be deferred for a little while, and then, like you said, they come out with even more debt. Like, let me go back to school so they stop billing me. Yeah. And then you come out with $60,000 more. And then
you gotta do like I do. Tell Sally Mae, you gotta find me.
Yeah. Look, get your stapler ready, bro, because there ain't no more room on this first page. Like, it's not gonna happen. But yo, you want to hear something really, really crazy? A pro athlete that you guys know very, very well. I'm talking to him, and he like, yo, I want to come to school and speak and da. So he like, yes, he said, but I you know, it's gonna cost you. And I'm like, cost me? What you mean it's gonna cost me? I said, I just want you to come speak to the kids. He was like, yo, oh man, just between me and you, can you help me pay my cell phone bill? And I'm talking about a guy that made $30 million in the NBA.
And here's the thing. We have professional athletes who hit us up trying to get jobs. So, and you know, these are people that, you know, and that's the thing, man. Like, reality, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you have perception and you have reality. And some people say, well, perception becomes reality. Not all the time.
Yeah, not all the time.
Sometimes reality is reality. You know what I mean?
Because the perception, Jimmy, is all of these guys that we're talking about, they never sold their jewelry, so they're still walking around trying to look like $1 million, but you know, they don't have any money in their pockets, but you know, they still look like $1 million every day.
And that's the problem with the debt right there, is that some even have a little safety, but they spend that trying to make everybody believe that they still got it. That's the
problem is they spend their time. Here's my profound statement of the night. They spend their time accumulating the wrong kind of jewelry. Ooh, anyway.
Shout out to Mojo too, because the profound statement out of the chat room is definitely, you have to develop your character along with developing your game, developing your wealth. You have to develop your character. If that develops, then you're able to hold on to the couple dollars that you may make in your career, no matter what level you attain. But if you don't develop
I
agree.
I agree. You have to develop your character and also just become a well-rounded person. Because sometimes it's not even about the money. I mean, you know, Michael Jordan invested in prison industrial complex. Does that mean he has great character? But anyway, let's move on, Dad.
I don't even want to get into that.
Let's move on.
Mike, we We can go on Mike all day. All right, but look, man, because you know we got O on for another 30 minutes, man. So we got to talk some basketball, man. We definitely got to talk some basketball. And you know, B. Austin going to defend Michael Jordan anyway. But look, man.
I know, but I didn't know O hated him. Like O just moved up on my list, man. Like like my he in my top 7 now. He in my top 7 now, man. Yeah, man. Let's talk basketball though, Dev.
Yeah, well, we got a call on the line. They might want to get a point in about this real quick.
Okay.
Just Jim, can you grab that real quick?
I got
you. Finish this one off. I just, the discussions that we have here and the things that you guys are doing every day. Andrea, and we have some other people that's going to come talk with us when we continue the series next week and beyond. I look at it as we're giving hope to like lower income students and just youth when they see hopelessness every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to keep doing what we're doing. You gotta keep doing what you're doing and branch out and spread. I know you said EPA. The goal is to go global. We definitely need stuff like that because the whole financial literacy gap is serious, and what you guys are doing at EPA is going to close that for at least some students in the LA area for now until we branch out.
We have some breaking news. Word just came across that the Clippers were sold for a couple $2 billion to the former Microsoft CEO, but we got a caller on the line who wants to talk about it.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay.
Yeah, they sold it for $2 billion. Shit.
Let's talk to Mike in Harrisburg. Mike, we got you on air. You said the story just broke?
Yeah, I guess I'm just breaking it on your show, but ESPN broke it about 15 minutes ago. Steve Ballmer, the former CEO of Microsoft, wins the bid to buy the Clippers for $2 billion. Here's my problem, guys. Donald Sterling is now being rewarded for getting $2 billion after what he did. Now, I'm sorry, I agree kicking him out of the league, but giving this guy $2 billion on his way out, I mean, what kind of punishment is that? It's a damn shame that he's getting rewarded $2 billion. I don't care if he's the owner or what, but you can't, set this precedent by giving someone $2 billion and saying, okay, you're out of the league. Thanks for now.
Well,
Mike, this
that
is the way.
That was always the on the agenda for Adam Silver and David Stern. They had been having talks with Stephen Ballmer behind the scenes, and they're setting two things. Number one, they're helping the owners, the ownership group, to increase the value of the other franchises in the league. So everybody's happy that the Clippers now will trade at $1.25 billion above what they're valued at. So you get an extra boost there. And secondly, they want to set the new franchise fee at $1 billion. So going forward, when they put that new franchise in Seattle, when they put a franchise someplace else, they're setting the market at $1 billion to own an NBA franchise. So this really is a win-win-win, and there was never any intention of selling the Clippers for anywhere under $1.2 billion. To begin
but doesn't it guys seem a little dirty? Doesn't it just seem it's not right?
Listen, I totally understand. I totally understand where you're coming from in terms of how it seems, but this is America, and the fact of the matter is, a lot of jerks, a lot of a-holes, a lot of deplorable people. When you have ownership of something, it has value. You don't. It seems dirty for him to be kind of compensated, but at the end of the day, he did own the team. It was his property. He was forced to sell his property, so you can't take his property and not give him anything for it. I mean,
Jimmy, what have we been saying for the past month? What have we been saying for the past month though? When everybody came out and tried to hail Adam Silver as a hero, we were all skeptical about it because Adam Silver, David Stern, everybody in the NBA executive office knew for 30 years what kind of person Donald Sterling was. So I think he was just playing Superman and doing what he had to do, and we're documented saying this on the air probably 2 weeks ago that they're going to make sure Donald Sterling gets a sweet deal because they don't really want to force him out of the league, but they have to do the right thing for the public and for all of the uproar and for sponsors wanting to pull out and everything. They weren't going to let this man go out. I didn't know that the bid would go up to $2 billion.
I'm looking at the story now. Here's the thing. He didn't approve it yet. What they did was they put a bid out there. They got offers of 1.6, 1.2, 1.8, and he got the highest bid.
This is him showing them the money, though. This is them saying,
basically,
okay, we're forcing you out. We really didn't want to, but we have to do this. So we're going to make the pot sweet for you. So, if you take the deal in the end, you're going to be a very rich man, even though he's already a very rich man.
His wife, they say his wife already agreed, like, look, she's like, where do I sign? And he's still, at this moment, holding out. She's already said, look, I'll sign tonight. According to this article in the L.A. Times, she's like, look, where do I sign? And he's like, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
So
remember, he was complaining.
He might be holding out for 2.5. Like he
was complaining originally about he was complaining about the $300 million tax hit that he was going to take. So they just sweetened the pot.
Well, he's fighting.
Yeah,
he's fighting as a matter. He's fighting as a matter of ego because he's already worth $1.9 billion. So for him, it's a matter of you're not going to force me out of as a man. You're not going to force me out of my thing. I don't care what the number is, but he also understands in the back of his head it's a win. So even if he fights it, because right now what he can afford to do is take this thing and make it a mess and fight it for a year, fight it for 2, fight it for 3, and at the end of the day when he retires, he really didn't spend that much because he's getting a $2.2 billion payday when he's done making a big raucous in the media. So this is all ego and posture.
Hey, you give me a $2 billion, I wouldn't go back to an NBA game. Even if they didn't kick me out, I wouldn't care. They can have that damn team. $2 billion.
Hey guys, just a final comment. Just a final comment before I go. This whole thing with Sterling from the beginning, it's so negative, and for me, it just doesn't smell right. How they're setting a precedent with $2 billion. Now all the franchises are going to be higher value. It seems like Sterling does this, but now it's just going in the pockets of the NBA and all the owners. And it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems strange, guys.
All right,
well, Mike, thank you for your call, man. Thanks for breaking that.
Thanks, Mike.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's why people think I'm crazy, and they know that I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think this whole thing was set up from the get-go for what Mike just said.
That's what I'm saying. I think people... Oh, go ahead. You think Donald Sterling?
I was about to say Donald Sterling is he manipulated this whole thing. He told her to make these recordings. He did this to kind of maximize his way on his way out. He knew he was leaving. He said he sat there like the Kaiser Sose. How can I maximize this? I'm a controversy.
He definitely.
That's what I keep. Yeah, but that's what I keep telling people. Like when they're saying, he's fighting. I don't even think he's fighting like as a man. I think this is all staged, man. I think he's fighting because you got to keep up appearances and act like you're putting up a fight.
There's another side to that.
You don't fight $2 billion
because
for a $700 million
I don't want to call
franchise.
I don't want to call Stephen Ballmer. I don't want to call Stephen Ballmer a sucker because obviously he's a very wealthy and smart man. But he's already come out into the media and let the NBA know that he's willing to pay well over $1 billion, and that had nothing to do with the Clippers. So they know they've got one with him. He just wants to own an NBA franchise that badly.
Yeah.
So
he tried to get one put back in Seattle. He's been wanting a franchise for a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully he won't run them like he ran Microsoft because you saw what happened to them as a company to go from the gate. That's a whole other story.
Hey, look,
that's a whole other story.
I hope he run the Clippers down like that. I can't stand the Clippers. That's what the only game they win anyway.
So because if he runs them the way he did Microsoft, that's a whole other story. But I kind of thought that this would happen.
So aren't the Clippers worth more than the Lakers now?
No,
worth more than everybody. $2 billion.
But no, it's sort of like O said. When you pay $2 billion for the Clippers, what does that do to
the
Lakers
value? Just
the Lakers got to be like, it's like Lakers.
And the thing about it is,
this almost skyrocketed.
And here's the thing, B. Austin. This almost passed that deal. The Dodgers, they got $2.1 billion, which was the highest deal in North American,
sports history. But the Dodgers deal came with all the real estate. This doesn't come with any real estate. The Dodgers came with, you know.
Well, no, not
TV
even.
network
not even.
as well.
It came with cash flow. So as the resident banker, my whole problem with all of this,
parking lot.
my whole problem with
TV
all of this,
contract.
the fundamentals of valuation center around revenue and income and profit.
It should.
This deal stinks because there is no profitability to support that value. So how do they manufacture this?
But you know, you're playing with people that money is not an object.
Those principles have went out the window even in high finance years ago. Like, that's the way it should be, but we live in a world where, like, it's not the way it is. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he just want to own an NBA team. $2 billion is a pocket change for these cats sometimes.
Yeah,
it sounds ridiculous.
It is.
Like,
but the Dodgers number is supported. Believe it or not, even though
I understand that. The Dodgers number it makes them look more of it, like, you know, I shouldn't say more of a genius because that's just throwing around too much. But it makes them look smarter today when you see what they got for what they paid. At the time, everybody said $2.1 billion. But they got revenue. They have a bunch of parking lots. They own a bunch of real estate.
They still overpaid, and I was one of the people that said they overpaid as well. But they
have they really
some
though?
revenue.
That's the thing. Did they really overpay? When you look at it now, did they overpay?
They did.
I don't know about that. Anyway,
well, that was already on the docket anyway. So I guess we can say never mind because we were going to talk about Yao Ming and Grant Hill putting together groups to put in a bid. I guess they can break those groups up now.
That's no money.
Yeah.
I mean, they were going to grab some people.
Well, they did grab people. They did grab people. Their names were in this article. The thing about it is, the way they did it was they put a bid up. Yeah. So, you know, the thing is, he just started from the gate.
Grant Hill next though. Grant Hill gonna have a team before anybody else, even before Magic.
They love a nice
people trust Grant.
Yeah, and his mom alone. His mom sit on some of the most powerful boards throughout the world. Like his mom is really heavy in the game. Like
the world, Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But it's crazy.
Did you just Jalen Rose Grant, man? Did you just Jalen?
Yeah, he definitely did that.
He's a nice Negro. He is. He's a good dude.
All right. Well, we already got some of that stuff off the docket. Jim, check your G-chat, and then go ahead and pay these bills, and I'll go see who's on the digital.
You already know, man. And by the way, let's just backtrack real quick and let you know that our NBA talk is brought to you by Fanatics. For the best in your favorite team's merchandise, apparel, shop Fanatics. Shopping Fanatics is easy. Go to our website, which is warroomsports.com. Click on the Fanatics logo. You can buy NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, NCAA gear, MMA gear, whatever you want to buy. Maybe you want to get a Clippers jersey now. Let's see if they become everybody's favorite team. That's also something. You know, just jumping back into that conversation, in terms of the Clippers' popularity, I mean, you know, and attention that will be on the team, that's going to be at an all-time high at this point.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. How much I hate to admit it.
I don't even understand how Clippers got fans in the same city as the Lakers.
I was hoping.
That's something I'll never understand.
From zero to hero.
Oh, tell me if I'm right, though, This used to be my theory when I used to go out to L.A. I used to be like, it seemed like Clippers fans were a lot of people who really couldn't afford to be Lakers fans because it's a little more expensive to be a Lakers fan. Is that a part of it?
I mean,
exactly what it is.
People I know who are Clippers fans will admittedly tell you that. I became a Clippers fan because my parents couldn't take me to a Lakers game. So, you know, it is what it is, man. But, you know,
now it's a little bit of bandwagoning off the success, but it's not
absolutely. It definitely is. And they're going to be a popular team now. But the question I have is this. Well, first of all, one quick thought. I was hoping they went to a person of color. That's off the table. But my question is this. If this goes through, if Sterling signs this and this goes through, does he have to change the name and just start all over, or do you still keep the Clippers name?
No, they blame it on the individual. It's not hurting the brand as much as it would have if he would have stayed on. After that, I think the Clippers are cool, man. I mean, the Clippers are Clippers. I mean, people change their name.
What prestige?
I mean, it's not like they have an illustrious. Yeah, but it's not like they have an illustrious history.
What prestige is it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. They Clippers.
So what would you gentlemen do?
I'd change it to the Bombers.
Same thing.
The Los Angeles Bombers. Like Bob Johnson did when he had a team, the Bobcats.
And then made Mike buy it.
Mike
he
Bias.
saw
And
Mike
then-
coming, yo. He saw Mike coming.
Yo,
that's what she said. Yo, B. Austin, would you change your name and keep the Clippers?
Yo, I would keep the Clippers because of something you alluded to earlier. They've changed this. They've turned this thing around, and Adam Silver and the monster and gorilla in the room reacted fast enough to where lemmings being lemmings and sheeple being sheeple, they're probably going to have more fans now because of them getting Sterling out than they had before. So I think
here's the other.
But you don't think they can play on that though? Like we're getting rid of that
Yeah.
name because of the history it holds and all the negativity.
Here's the other
totally
curveball to this. Here's the curveball to this whole
bug.
thing, right? We know where Microsoft is located. We know that Ballmer has been trying to put a team in Seattle for a long time. That's what he's been trying to do that. And Jetty Marr just said it in our chat room. He thinks that this whole move is to bring the Sonics back. Like maybe the Clippers will move. Like if Ballmer gets them.
You know
I
what?
thought one of the conditions. I thought one of the conditions of the sale was that they weren't going to move the team. Whoever bought it.
I don't know that. I
mean,
don't
for
know that,
$2 billion, you can change that. But I read that a few weeks ago.
And Ballmer got some more billion to throw around too.
What'd you say? Oh.
What I don't understand is why the Clippers won't build their own stadium, because they can't get the big games, they can't get the weekends, they only can play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Like, why would you can't even really market your team because you can't get the big
better
nights.
than the Lakers, so they're trying to change all that around.
They're better than Lakers for like 2 years.
That's temporary.
Yo,
and they still more Lakers fans across the United States and the world than nobody knows who the Clippers are.
Yeah, why don't they just play at the Forum? Just get the sloppy seconds. Go play at the Forum or something. I never understood that either. Because I'm like, the Lakers are, one of the two greatest franchises in NBA history. I don't think they should have to share their building. I think that's corny.
Well, that was all
Doc
part
Rivers,
of the deal.
Doc
That
Rivers
was all part
comes
of the deal with
in.
that
I mean,
corporation.
it's a money thing. It's a money thing. But then Doc Rivers comes in and he's upset. He wants to change things. Oh, there's too much Laker stuff hanging around. Well, win something.
Exactly.
Like, what you gonna have?
Like, win something. Like, why you keep to hang something up and then we won't have enough room for the
Go to Seattle. Go to Seattle.
Like, you don't have anything to hang, so you're gonna have to live with it, dude. Like, come on.
live with it. Like, you gotta earn it. Man.
And on Twitter,
Lakers fans, right?
On Twitter, Casey Mack. I was gonna say, on Twitter, Casey Mack said, when you talk about $2 billion, you do whatever you want to do. You can change your name, move the team.
Move that joint to.
You can $2 billion.
Move
You
to
can play in
London.
Camden. They haven't played in
London
Camden.
Clippers.
Hey man, I
Camden
heard they,
Clippers.
on another note, though, I heard they closed down my high school, Strawberry Mansion.
No, they were going to. It was on the chopping block, but they survived somehow. Yeah, that's another thing. Like when we talked about it earlier, like mixing rival schools, like they were going to close Strawberry Mansion and send those kids to Franklin. Like, come on, man, y'all trying to have people die at school? Like, you can't do that.
I mean, it was from a financial standpoint, they really had no choice. Like there wasn't enough kids going to school. You know,
yeah, that's the problem. And that's universal too.
That's old school, man.
Let's get our
That's
caller.
how people know, we real when he say, man, I know about Philly. If you say you know Strawberry Mansion, that's like inside knowledge right there.
That's what I told all the kids. That's the high school I went to, you know what I mean? Like, that's really my high school. You know?
I went to
my high school.
Because that's random. You don't just say Strawberry Man. You really have to know the inner workings of the city to talk about Strawberry Man.
Absolutely, man. Yo, let's get our call on line. Let's get the homie Corey on the line real quick. See what he want to rap about. Corey, what's good, homie?
How y'all feeling tonight?
What's up, Corey?
Highly famous.
Yeah,
I get in on this Clippers deal.
Right? They getting it in big over there on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been listening to y'all. You know, I listen to y'all as much as I can, man. But I really enjoy that y'all, you know, what I mean, mix sports topics with things that touch the inner city youth, like education. You know what I mean. But I appreciate that. As much as I want to talk about education, you know, if y'all go hit my Facebook page, I've been hitting education rants because I work in education.
Yeah,
and it just drives me crazy. But I want to talk about how Donald Sterling is making out like a fat cat. He bought this franchise for $12 million.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling people. This fight is fake. He ain't fighting.
Yeah,
he set the whole thing up, Corey. Corey, he set this whole thing up. He set this whole thing up. Him and Siviano sat at the crib and was like, "Yo, let's work this plan."
Yeah. The NBA, they just paid my man $2 billion to go away. But I'm gonna tell you though, they would have lost a lot of money, and if he fight this, he gonna lose a lot of money. Like they gonna lose a lot of sponsors and branding, just on the simple fact that people whose righteous indignation is gonna make them not be Clippers fans, and they're gonna lose some of that TV money, and so Donald Sterling fighting this would actually cost the NBA more in revenue than him taking this $2 billion deal.
That's why the number got to be what it is.
Yeah,
I think Corey. I think he's gonna talk about fighting until the check clears, and then we won't hear from him again. No. I mean, he's 82 years old.
You gotta make
the man 81 though, man. He might be suffering from some kind of dementia. Like you don't know, man. Like Donald Sterling might actually fight me. Like he's 81. He 81. Like you know how crotchety people are.
I think $2 billion is the cure to that dimension. Like there's no question about it. He definitely understand that.
But listen, when you got like Donald Sterling, $2 billion don't even sound like a whole bunch of money. Like that's the crazy part. He old and crazy. You really can't put that past this dude.
Crazy.
Listen, man.
No, but
is he crazy? Is he crazy like a fox? Man. He manipulated this whole thing to get $2 billion, man.
Yeah, it's a genius somewhere in there. You can't. We got to stop calling him crazy at some point. It's some genius.
He might be crazy like a fox, man.
Yeah. Plus, like I said, man. Everybody wanted to hail. Everybody wanted to hail Adam Silver as a hero. The NBA has a lot to do with this right now.
But you know what's crazy?
He's been doing this for 30 years. He's been doing this for 30 years. How the hell that now he got caught? Now the public heard it. Now it's okay. Now we gotta get him out of here. Man, that's bullshit.
But because the public and the sponsors started going away. But that's another reason why he can't fight it, because if he holds on to the team and he has no sponsors, then what does he have? So like I said, the whole fighting thing is staged, man. Once that check goes,
you know why it is. And it's the thing, like I was sitting there thinking about this. We keep calling this guy crazy and stupid. This dude owned the team for 30 years. He paid $12 million. He made a profit for the majority of those years. Not even due to his own work. Due to his partners
every year.
Due to his partners, he was so cheap. He would charge his own players like for towels and things that other owners gave away for free. He would put it he would itemize and charge him for it. So this guy has been able to sit and make bread for 30 years.
He's the only owner in the league making money.
but you gotta understand.
With the worst record, he's been in the playoffs like 5 times.
You gotta check it out though.
He fired a coach and then said, "I don't care what your contract says, I'm not paying you." Like my man.
But you got to
he did it to LB. He did it to a couple coaches. He like, you fired and no, you're not getting anything. You're fired for cause. He make up something and then he don't pay him. And then by the time you fight, you take
this dude isn't stupid. He may be a lot of things, but he's not stupid. Like he's manipulating the league.
Crazy and stupid is 2 different things, though, Joe.
Oh, absolutely. I think crazy. No, but listen, I think crazy like a fox. He set this whole thing up, man. I believe the conspiracy.
You were about to say something?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, though, if you think about the genius of that, he actually forced the sale because dude got on primetime TV and never said he was sorry. He like, listen, man.
Never.
He was like, I ain't never retired. So he was like, he didn't get on TV and it's like, I'm sorry for what I'm doing. I'm trying to save my team. He was like, yo, man, I'm a billionaire. Hell with what y'all talking about. I ain't saying I'm sorry. And I'm forced the team to get $2 billion. So I think it was staged, but I think he forced it to go down because when he got on prime time, he still didn't say he was sorry. Those black.
That's the crazy old man in him. You see his face.
Yo, hold up, y'all. He got on TV.
I don't know if I say this. He acts so holy. I mean, he made love to every girl in every city in America, and he had AIDS. And when he had those AIDS, I went to my synagogue and I prayed for him.
Yo, he said when he had those AIDS.
Yo,
he went on TV and said that and still got a $2 billion. Hey, Corey, man,
what has he done?
We're about to get out of here in a minute, man. So thanks for your call, man.
He's a business person.
He's got AIDS. Did he do any bills?
But in that interview, he said a lot of real shit that people didn't pick up on, especially about Magic. Though he said some real stuff when he was saying if he really cared, build a hospital, spend some money. You know, Magic don't spend no money; he just put his name on stuff and profit. So I know.
No Magic's playing. No Magic's playing. We got to move on though. We got to move on though, right?
Jimmy gonna move on.
We got to move on. We got a couple minutes left, right? We got a couple minutes left, so we gotta move on, man. Yo, shout out to also real quick, shout out to Glass from Get With It Sports. He's been holding us down in the chat room. But yo, LeBron. I know B. Austin wants to talk about LeBron's game last night where he only scored 7. I mean, this is what some people are calling the greatest small forward in the history of the game.
Defining moment. Huh?
All right. I mean, go ahead, speak your piece, man. I disagree with you, but go ahead, speak your piece.
I feel like there's no point in any of us having a conversation about whether or not LeBron is the best player in the world, because by far and away he is that. He is easily that, no question. But when you start talking about,
I hate arrogant Americans.
When you start talking about all-time greats in an Eastern Conference Finals game in the prime of your career, all your superpowers intact, you score 7 points. I don't care about 24 minutes. 24 minutes is enough for you to do more work than 7 points.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely was in foul trouble. What I have a problem with is everybody saying, well, because the Pacers were complaining, LeBron was getting ticky-tack calls. I think the foul calls were legitimate. I'm going to say that. And besides the fact that he only played 24 minutes, like he shot terribly in those 24 minutes. Now I can also understand that it's kind of difficult to get into a rhythm, you know, when you're in and out of the game because of foul trouble. So I'll give him that. I'm not as hard on him about 7 points as
and Lucy, everybody know I'm real hard on LeBron James, but I ain't gonna fought him for that. I fought him for like that Dallas series, stuff like that. Like I never seen a superstar that magnitude freeze up mentally. Like I never seen that before. But that last night, when you can't get in your rhythm, you just can't get in your rhythm with foul trouble. That shit will take it.
It don't take rhythm when you 6'9" and 275. Man, go to the block. Go to the block. Get layup. Easy shots. He's a master of hitting easy shots.
I just look at it a little different than B. Austin from watching the game, watching the ebbs and flows of the game, and seeing how he didn't get his rhythm and how he didn't get. I mean, he had an off night. It wasn't the worst ever, but also I've seen Kobe score 14. I've seen Kobe score 14 and play damn near the whole game in the playoffs.
That's double 7. That's not.
But also, he'll play double the minutes too. That's what I'm saying. So I've seen great players have bad playoff games.
I can get 7 in an NBA game.
I can take you back to Jordan when he only scored 16 on the Pistons in the playoff game. So like, that happens, bro. It's not like
that's
double 7.
You know, Jordan stuff gets erased from the record though. Anything bad Mike does get
that's like our history book.
Yeah, people. Mike got a lot of, and I was always a big Mike fan, but there's a lot of revisionist history going on when it comes to Mike.
Absolutely.
Like you let people tell it now. Michael Jordan has never made a mistake on the basketball court.
Oh man!
But listen,
absolutely,
because we only got like a minute and a half left, man. Mark Jackson said LeBron James the greatest small forward to ever play the game. Y'all giving him that title?
No,
not yet.
I think
the farther away we get from Larry Bird, the more people forget how good that dude was.
Oh, he was definitely nasty. He was nasty.
I don't know if I'm ready to give him that yet.
But
I say he's definitely in the argument.
Definitely in the mental
edge. Of course.
No, he's definitely in the argument, but mentally, Larry Bird
was way superior.
Yeah, he's definitely.
He's in the argument. You know what I'm saying?
He got a shot.
And I maybe I'm crazy. I think that he's definitely. I mean, it can be argued. It can be argued. I mean, when you look at his game, what he's able to do, and even when you look at what Larry Bird was able to do. But I do believe that Larry Bird gets slighted anyway. When you talk about the greatest players, his name is never mentioned.
Never.
So he gets slighted anyway. You know what I mean? But
it takes a white person to come to the conversation to bring Larry up, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, because Larry was doing it to black people.
And then I think people get, and I know we out of time, Jim, but I know what people mix up best and greatest. I think those are two different things. And right now, I would probably concede that LeBron might be a better individual player, but he's not greater than Larry Bird yet because.
And I think personally, I think Doc was greater than Bird, But the fact of the matter is, no one really likes to combine Doc's ABA and NBA, because when you combine Doc's ABA, Doc better than both of them, and that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Well, LeBron got
that with one hand.
LeBron got to put some hands on somebody before he be better than Bird anyway. He got to fight somebody.
And I put Doc over Bird. I put Doc over Bird because he laid the charcuterie on him. Doc went in his mouth. Anyway, man, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us in the War Room, good folks. Shout out to everybody in the chat room on Facebook, Twitter, all the callers who chimed in. Special thanks to O, man. We appreciate it, good brother. From Executive Prep Academy.
Anytime,
you already know. Take a look up at Executive Prep Academy online. You can go look them up, as well as Andrea Gardner of Mastery Charter School, for giving us their thoughts on this important issue that we'll continue to talk about. Tune in next week, same time, same place, right here, or check out the War Room Sports Podcast Network, WRSPN.com. Next week we'll have our third installment in this series discussing youth sports and education in America and its affecting our kids in lower-income areas. We'll be joined again by educators and youth advocates. But listen, enjoy the NBA, NHL playoffs, and we'll see you right back here next week. War Room Sports on Facebook and Twitter, WarRoomSportsTV.com for the video content. Like we always say, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, TJ, Doc Beck, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
But what does he do for the black people? He doesn't do anything. You call up and say, well,
he's opened a lot of businesses in inner city neighborhoods.
The Jewish people have a company, and it's for people who want to borrow money and no interest. They want to give them a fishbowl.
War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.